one to talk to those guys about.
You probably don't remember this, but while you were talking to the person who did that documentary, the Confused Matthew documentary, you said it might be fun to have him on the podcast to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I would have Confused Matthew on in a heartbeat for sure. Yeah, you know, like a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine it'd be really fun to have him on there. It was my idea. Yeah, well, and the reason was now I remember. The reason was because that's a movie that you know, EJ put it this way early on when we watched. Like, I think we both rated it a top fiver for last year. Like, we really liked it. It was, we revisit the scenes, and it's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
You know, in the last 5 years, there haven't been too many crowd pleasers that have come to cinemas, so it stood out for sure. And yeah, like he said it in the opening of our review. He's like, I don't think it's a very good movie.
I think kind of as a movie, it's bad.
Yeah, I think by that we mean like, you know what, Dan? I think you were I say this frankly, I think at times maybe not, maybe not from beginning to end, but mostly a pretty decent story. I think the whole like the worst Wolverine thing. You were the worst Wolverine. Actually, no, you're the best Wolverine. I think that. Like of all the ways to grow a character in this awful multiverse thing that we find ourselves stuck in, I thought that was pretty clever. But what do you think? Do you like that movie, or is it Hitler?
No, it's not Hitler. It's Stalin at best. No, I like
some mass grave somewhere.
Hitler pool.
Yeah. No, I like all the Deadpool films. As a matter of fact, Deadpool is a Marvel character. For those who don't know, I don't know very much about Marvel, and for the longest time I didn't know much about DC until around 2015, and then I became a DC fanatic. I love DC.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
Yeah, I'm a big DC fan. We legally learned. I don't know very much about Marvel, but I did know a fair bit about Deadpool even before the first film, because Deadpool was based on... He was sort of a riff on a DC character, which is Deathstroke. Marvel and DC would often do these things where they would make like parody versions of the other's properties just to get on the other's nerves, and that's how Deadpool kind of started out. And then after a while, he became the fourth wall-breaking sort of Bugs Bunny type character. So I knew a little. I didn't know much, but I knew what his origins were, and I knew what that character was like in his comics. And I thought to myself, they're never going to be able to make a movie out of this. It would have to be X-rated, and it would have to be like Space Jam, where he's a cartoon and everything else is like, how could you do something this goofy and ridiculous and obscene in a film that people go and watch? And lo and behold, they did it. They didn't pull any punches, and
after a failed attempt with trying to
that role, his timing in those films and his comedic presence is above and beyond anything that he's done in his career. This is the one he's going to be remembered for. I really like all the films. And I like this film too. I had a lot of problems with it that I didn't have in the other films, but it was just as entertaining, just as funny. Yeah, I did like it. I did like the film.
Remember the problem with Iron Man 2? It was basically an advertisement for movies to come, right? And so like it can't be its own movie.
Yes.
I think that could be a legitimate critique of this one, where like it's so wrapped up in other properties and other references that like it can't be its own thing. Not that Deadpool doesn't live and die by references.
Right. This one I think probably goes the hardest on the references. And as I say, I'm not really a Marvel guy, so some of them were kind of lost on me. I think this film's biggest weakness is that unlike the other two films, it only has one Russo brothers. I think they're good directors. I'm not a big fan of the Marvel films, but they made some good ones. I really did like Infinity War, and I liked
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yes. Winter Soldier was really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Russo's came off of Community, if I'm not mistaken. They used to direct.
Yeah. They lucked out so hard with those guys.
If you have ever seen Community, they did a great job there too. They're very talented. I don't want to take anything away from them.
Incredible, and they're coming back because nobody else can do it.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Talented people are rare. You know, like they found James Gunn, and like he went off, and now he owns a different joint. You know, he gets to make any movie he wants.
How about that, James? He went from doing Super to doing everything.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, from Super to Superman. That's his autobiography.
Yeah. Good on him.
I think the Superman trailer, I heard a lot of people saying, like I'm worried it's going to be the Suicide Squad or the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Crypto's in this. 10 out of 10 already.
That's a cute dog.
That's a unique kind of dog too. It's not a golden retriever. You know,
And he's a cute little doggy wog. What can I say? I'm using a phrase.
James Gunn movies are going to come with a personality, and like so often, I think what you're looking for in a movie is something that's again, it's the same thing you're looking for in a friendship or in a relationship or whatever. You're looking for somebody who offers something authentic, and so even I think he's the kind of filmmaker where even if I'm not totally in step with what he's doing, I like that he's making decisions. I like that he's making artistic choices. I'm kind of there for that.
Well, if people are worried about the Superman movie that James Gunn is releasing, all I can do is I can point to Man of Steel and say he couldn't do much worse.
There's people out there that love that movie.
Oh yeah, you don't want to say that to Snyder fans. Yeah,
No, I know.
They're brutal.
I actually think. Well, now you got me thinking. I was about to say I really don't like Man of Steel, but I don't know. BVS.
Man of Steel's a bit much.
Pretty shit. I never saw the extended. People tell me, you gotta watch an extra hour of it, then it all makes sense. Fuck off.
I mean, granted, if you watch the extended version of Batman v Superman, there's some things that make more sense in terms of how they happened, but the movie doesn't make any more sense. It's the same movie. It's
right.
just with more details.
Although, I say that, and yet the Snyder Cut of Justice League I thought was actually an excellent movie.
So did I.
Yeah. The Aftermath I thought was garbage. And so now I'm left very confused and very lost in the wilderness. So I'm like, wait, was there revision for these movies?
I was so ready to be an I told you so, and to say that this, he's not going to make 2 garbage films and then come out and make a great film. No, it was great. It was very good.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Because Batman v Superman is, I can't. It's like HT in the Capitol that explodes. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But then you watch Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League, and you're like, where the fuck was this Zack Snyder? Why didn't you come out with this one?
It's possible the studio was fucking with him. It is possible.
I don't think so. I think if the studio was in control of Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, we would have got what we got with the other version of the Justice League, which was who did that?
Yeah, you're right. That seemed like a studio, like, hey, can we get some color in here? Can we maybe a few jokes, and can we cut it down to it's a 90 minutes or something?
Yeah.
People are walking out.
Have the Flash fall into Wonder Woman's boobs because 12-year-olds are watching this.
Did that actually happen in that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Moving a little fast, are we? But did you see while we're talking about it, you must have seen, you hated it.
I hated it.
Wow.
I thought it was the worst.
I think I said some nice things about it on the pod. I now have some distance from it. I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going back to that.
No, you're never.
Look,
Ezra Miller in particular, I found, very intolerant.
He's tough. There's 2 of them. There's fucking 2 of them.
Okay, we actually talked about this a little bit on WhatsApp or something. And I don't.
On Tinder.
Yeah, I don't want to hash this all off again. But
we were chatting about this on Tinder.
And Grindr.
I don't like Ezra Miller, and I don't like his take on that character. But I thought that he was the best thing in that film. And just hear me out.
Yeah, that's fucking. You know what? Not since Old Country for Old Men have you been so wrong.
Okay, hear me out. He was the only one in that film who was playing a role that required anything of him. He had to play that was inspired. That first time where you see Chris Evans and you think he's Captain America and it turns out he's the other guy, that was great. And then
very fun.
I remember all the Deadpools that came out and they fought all the Deadpools. And those 3 things.
The tracking shot.
Yeah.
And that sounded like a Hughes Matthew joke, by the way. Just the construction of that.
No, I'm serious.
It sounded like and he fights all the Deadpools.
He fights all the
There's a
Deadpools.
million Deadpools.
There's a baby Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing. You probably haven't heard about this. There's a whole drama with Ryan Reynolds and his wife with that movie.
Really?
Wait, is it this movie